For decades, invisible lines shaped American cities, lines that determined who could build wealth and who would be left behind. These weren't just lines on a map, these were boundaries drawn by banks, lenders, appraisers, and even realtors, deciding who deserved access to the American dream. Fast forward to the 21st century, and those lines have not disappeared. In 2023, Ameris Bank, a financial giant operating across the Southeast, was exposed for systematically shutting out Black and non-white communities from home ownership, a practice as old as redlining itself, dressed in modern-day disguise. Today, we step behind those lines to uncover the story of Ameris Bank, its legacy of exclusion, and its lasting impact on marginalized communities.
Ameris Bank in Jacksonville is under the microscope for discriminatory lending practices and is subject to a multi-million-dollar settlement. It was announced today here in the River City by U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland. News for Jax anchor Bruce Hamilton has more on the fallout for Ameris Bank.
Ameris Bank, headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, was no small player in the financial world. With over 200 branches spread across Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and the Carolinas, Ameris prided itself on being a community bank, one that served the needs of the neighborhoods where it operated. But not all communities were created equal in the eyes of Ameris. Between 2016 and 2021, a disturbing pattern emerged. Despite being present in cities with large Black and Latino populations, Ameris consistently avoided lending in those areas. Data revealed that Ameris Bank made significantly fewer loans in majority Black and Latino neighborhoods, even when applicants had comparable credit worthiness. In Jacksonville, Florida, a city where Black residents make up 30% of the population, less than 1% of mortgage applications came from Black communities.
That dates back nearly a century and was outlawed more than 50 years ago, but the fight continues against the discriminatory lending process known as redlining. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland was in Jacksonville on Thursday to announce a $9 million settlement between the federal government and Ameris Bank relating to redline practices. But as On Your Side's Rich Donnelly reports tonight, the effects of redlining from generations ago are still felt today.
Redlining is not just a relic of the past. Some of the neighborhoods that we allege Ameris redlined are some of the same neighborhoods that federal agencies originally redlined in the 1930s.
That was Attorney General Merrick Garland in Jacksonville on Thursday. He's also describing what life was like for Warren Jones when he was a young boy in the 1950s.
Segregation was still alive and well in Jacksonville. I grew up with it.
Long before he was a school board member and city councilman, Jones and his parents were the first Black family to move onto Stockton Street, which was all white at the time. He says that redlining practices from the 50s and 60s are having a negative effect on Jacksonville to this day.
The vestiges of redlining is evident in older neighborhoods. As you ride through Jacksonville and look at older neighborhoods, you see homes that are boarded up because people could not get affordable mortgages.
Redlining was outlawed in the 1968 Fair Housing Act. On this day, we're walking through Jacksonville's Newtown neighborhood, an area that was redlined more than 60 years ago. And while some homes are well kept, Others remain boarded up and vacant.
People who grew up in these neighborhoods who are doing well, they're not moving back in there because you don't have the shopping. The grocery stores are not convenient. The retail shops are not convenient.
Ameris Bank denies the allegations brought against it and paid the $9 million settlement to avoid a protracted legal fight. $7.5 million in loan subsidies will be set aside for residents in Black and Hispanic neighborhoods. Another $600,000 will be set aside for community partnerships, but Ameris says the programs and ways to sign up for those programs are not yet set up. Reporting in Jacksonville, Rich Donnelly, First Coast News, on your side.
Redlining may have been outlawed in the 1960s, but its shadow lingers. Ameris Bank's lending practices mirror the discrimination of the past, shutting out communities of color while funneling resources into predominantly white neighborhoods. Investigators uncovered a range of tactics that kept Black and Latino families locked out. Ameris Bank avoided opening branches in communities of color and steered marketing efforts away from non-white neighborhoods, ensuring that their services were out of reach for those who needed them the most. But what truly set Ameris apart was its blatant disregard for outreach. While other banks implemented programs to bridge the gap, Ameris failed to even take the most basic steps to engage with marginalized communities.
It's one part of the agreement between the U.S. Justice Department and Ameris Bank, and right behind me is one of those locations on Beach Boulevard. Now, this initiative is all meant to resolve lending discrimination claims.
Redlining is is harmful, it is unlawful, and it is wrong.
An anti-redlining initiative launched in October of 2021 is now reaching a new milestone. The initiative, brought forward by U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, has now created an agreement to increase credit opportunities for those in Jacksonville. It all stems from a complaint. The Department of Justice alleges that Ameris Bank avoided providing mortgage services to majority Black and Hispanic neighborhoods in Jacksonville from 2016 to 2021. Ameris operates 18 branches in Jacksonville. According to the complaint, the department compiled a report on the bank's lending in Duval County's urban core. That report found that in 2017, of all the loans that Ameris did originate in urban core high minority tracts, only 2 of those loans were made to Black borrowers and 0 loans were made to Hispanic borrowers. Now, if a tentative agreement DOJ reached with the bank is approved, $9 million in relief will help those communities in Jacksonville.
This is transformative relief that will unlock the door to homeownership and intergenerational wealth for residents of communities of color here in Jacksonville.
For families in these neighborhoods, the impact was devastating. Homeownership is more than just owning a property. It's a pathway to generational wealth, stability, and opportunity. But when that door is slammed shut, the effects ripple through generations. By 2023, the Department of Justice has seen enough. After a comprehensive investigation, federal prosecutors determined that Ameris Bank had violated the Fair Housing Act and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, 2 pillars designed to protect against discriminatory lending. The outcome? A $9 million settlement that included $7.5 million in loan subsidies to impacted communities, $1.5 million for outreach and financial education, and ongoing reforms to prevent future discrimination. Unveiling the truth behind lending discrimination is just the beginning. Join us next time on Behind the Lines as we investigate another case where those who need the most help were left behind by the institutions meant to serve them. If you're ready to confront the hidden systems shaping our neighborhoods, subscribe and stay tuned for more.